Thanks for staying with us. Now, the university academic community in Ghana is tonight coming together in a show of resistance against government's decision to dissolve the governing council of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Lecturers and administrators at the university have declared a strike to protest government's action, and two other unions, the Teachers and Educational Workers Union and the Federation of University Senior Staff Association of Ghana, are also supporting the strike with a massive demonstration slated for Monday. Now, government announced the dissolution of the council on Thursday and in its stead set up a 7-member interim council with a 3-month mandate to, among others, expedite the reopening of the university. The University Teachers Association of Ghana on Thursday kicked against the dissolution of the council, especially over the exclusion of the Vice-Chancellor from the interim council, even though it had a representative of the students. Eric Kwabena Foko is the local chapter president of KNUST UTAG. He explains further why they took the decision to embark on the strike.
We decided that the government, as a matter of urgency, should restore the governing council of the KNUST. Then also, we don't recognize the interim management committee set up by the government yesterday. And the third thing that we also said was we are not going to withdraw our teaching services until government restores these back to where they belong. Well, we see all these things that people are saying. We haven't even got an official statement from the government. We also heard it from multimedia yesterday. But even if they have done that, the issue we are saying is we see the move of the government as an attack on academic freedom. We see, because this is the heritage our fathers want for us, that the university is semi-autonomous. We do our own thing. We have our acts, we have our statutes, and enough mechanisms in our acts and statutes to deal with this issue. So where come the government? Gone are the days when the government was a chancellor of a university. Now we have a chancellor, we have a governing council, a chairman appointed by the government, and 3 other people. And if all these people are not doing well, I think this interim committee will do better than what these people have been doing. We have 4 appointed by the government. If they cannot do it, we'll think about this 7. We are also bringing another 4 from the old council. What is that? So we are not saying whether because UTAG was not there. I'm not even sure we want to be there. If they call us, we have to come back and get a mandate. I'm not sure whether we want to be part of that committee. So the issue is not about whether we are there or we are not there. The issue is attack on our freedom to do. I mean, these are students, and we teach them. And if you cannot solve this problem, somebody who hasn't taught before can do this. Yeah. I find it very difficult to understand 21st century university and the relationship of the 21st century university with the government. And it amazes us that the government has taken this decision. Being council for the past, and I've never, not a single council meeting, we meet 4 times in a year, not a single time that we've received any petition from a student. We haven't. In my capacity as a council member and in my capacity as a UTAG president. So they may be complaining to management, well, I don't want to go there. But as a councillor of the university and as a UTAG president, I have never received any petition from any of these students. The government delegation came to on this campus on Tuesday. They met the management, met the students, and never from the university community. We are major stakeholder when it comes to tertiary education. You can't downplay the part that we play. Up to now, the ministers, all 3 ministers, none of them even actually bothered to find out. UTAG, what is your point also?
Now, Mr. Foko adds the university teachers and administrators will go beyond the strike to embark on a massive demonstration on Monday.
What we are planning to do, we are meeting the other members, like union members like Tewu, Gawa, Fusak. And what we are trying to do is on Monday, we're going to have massive demonstration that will comprise all the other unions on campus here, and we are meeting this afternoon. Then we make sure Monday we're going to do that. We are as old as we are. We have to make sure we're able to walk. And so we are not going to run.
The lectures version of the students' demonstration.
Yeah, the lectures version of the students. But this one, the difference will be walk, and the difference will be this is going to be very, very. In the war, there's what we call the collateral damage. When you are throwing a missile, definitely to pass through somebody's window, sometimes the whole area. But the advantage, however small it is, we want the government to know that this is a university which have an international reputation. Last week, the World Bank were here. When the first thing they asked us about the risk, because we were going to get some projects, the risk. We want to tell the government that this is an international university and they must make sure that the laws and the rules must work. That's what we are saying. If tomorrow government say we'll go back to classroom and begin to work, we'll have to do this teaching, and we don't want to punish anybody. But the way things are going, if nothing, we don't do anything about it, they will triumph, and then the future of the university
will triumph.
The government will triumph, and then our free academic freedom will be under threat. So that's all we want to solve.
So that's Eric Kwabena Foko. He is the KNUST local chapter president of UTAG. We will shortly be speaking with the national president of UTAG. Before then, let's remind you why we have come to this point. We'll bring you a report chronicling some of the events that culminated in the decision to shut down the university and reconstitute the governing council, especially the controversial decision to convert the single-sex halls. Kwesi Deborah reports.
And unfortunately, Ghana, when we see a woman being the head of anything, we think that it is wrong. Where is this woman coming from? Because we haven't accepted that women are even the best managers in our world.
At public fora, at congregations, no speech oozes without hints of feminine names. Under its administration, various female organizations like Women in Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics Ghana had wings to fly. KNUST saw her first female pro-vice chancellor. Many people, however, believe he became drunk with this passion. They believe in his stupor he invoked a demon trapped in the university chest for years. Suddenly, he became a public enemy. There are those who find it an abomination to blow into the wind an old tradition.
Yes, sir, you cannot bring females to the hall for males to be displaced.
People within the corridors of power thought Professor Obiri Danso, a perceived member of the opposition NDC, had made the government of the day unpopular. Nonetheless, open-minded persons like Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Yanka, gave him thumbs up.
But I think KNUST has made a major statement, and held also by the courts of law, that new realities emerging, institutions ought to adjust themselves to new realities.
Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, however, had some reservations.
So we cannot, if we want to create an equal level of the playing field, we cannot insist on our traditional problems like Katanga or Unity, or for that matter, any hall in this university should be reserved for a particular sex. I don't believe Africa Hall, because Africa is not only made of women.
Close watchers of developments at KNUST conclude Dr. Opoku Prempeh's comment led to Africa Hall being included in the list, and that wouldn't pass without a fight. Security was heightened. It was taken overboard. Finally, a demonstration. After the mess, political figures like MPP National Youth Organizer Nana Boakye is quoted to have written, Obiri Danso will soon become history. Deputy Executive Director, National Service Scheme, Gift Yoware, and MP for Futu Alexander Afenyo-Markin joined the sale. Now, there's a new board. It includes demonstration leader Kelvin Sarr, Provost of College of Arts and Built Environment, Professor Joshua Yakwa, with whom Professor Obiri Danso contested and won the position.
The concerned students.
In reaction to dissolution of the governing council, excited members of a group calling itself Concerned Students of KNUST give a clear position to see him fired ultimately.
What we are seeking for and what we are praying is those in the helm of affairs that we've kept hammering on, we've kept on saying that the VC must go, the Dean of Students must go.
Professor Obi Danso's hands are tied to his back. Is the interim body leading him to the firing range? Who cocks the gun? Who pulls the trigger? Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
Well, joining us on the phone lines right now is the National President of UTAG, Dr. Eric Opoku-Mensah, with details of a meeting in Kumasi with the KNUST chapter of the association. Good evening and thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you, and thank you for your viewers.
Right. Now, earlier today, we were made to understand that the KNUST chapter of UTAG called a strike. We know that UTAG as a body has been meeting to consider a nationwide strike. What's the latest with regards to that?
Yeah, thank you. It is true. The UTAG branch of KNUST met today and unanimously, after consulting the lecturers, they unanimously declared a strike. And that this strike, the first part of it is that they are staying away from the classroom, and they are withdrawing their teaching and so far as administrative work and research is concerned. That is on, and they are looking at development. So National came, we met as NEC, National Executive members met with the NEC, and after a lengthy deliberation, we have declared support for the decision KNUST has made today. And we have made further directives. We are asking all the various branches in all the public universities to also look at the decision of KNUST and take a decision so that nationwide we would sing with one voice. So this is the position. And all we are asking is that government restore the dissolved council to allow the act, the statute to work so that, you know, the issues will resolve. We don't want a case where anything happens in the university, then government says that I'm dissolving council, I'm bringing an interim council. If you don't do this, by the time we realize all councils, legitimate councils of public universities in Ghana will be reconstituted. It is not fair to our universities. It is not best practice. And we, as a responsible union, as major stakeholders in university education in Ghana, are not going to sit down for this to happen. So this is in the decision we've taken today.
Okay.
And in connection to this, other sister unions in public universities, i.e. GAWA, has made a declaration that they are going on a nationwide strike, and they have also put out a statement today. The other union, senior staff, has also made a determination that they are also going on a nationwide strike. So this is the state of affairs, and we are singing with one voice, sending a clear warning to government, and that we want government to reflect over a decision. Our doors are still open to reconsider this decision. If government would decide to restore the council, we need our councils back on KNUST campus, and we want government interference on our campuses to end, but with this process. So this is the decision we've taken today.
Very well.
We stand by it.
We do know that an interim council has been instituted. Clarify for us, has UTAG received any official communication about the association's inclusion in this interim council?
We haven't received any official statement from government with respect to that. We just heard it in the media. But I think that we've moved away from that. We do not recognize the interim council. So whether UTAG and TEWU have been added doesn't change anything.
Okay.
All we are saying is that our council should be restored to allow the legitimate body in our public universities to take charge of affairs.
Right.
When UUW issue came up, UTAG was silent for a very long time because, one, we felt that there was a properly constituted council, and therefore when we talked about the issues happening on the UUW campus, government rightly indicated through the Ministry of Education that there is a legitimate constituted council which will see to the restoration of tranquility on UUW campus. And therefore, UTAG had to be quiet because we respected that decision. We felt that that decision from government was based upon law, and it was based upon the act that established public universities in Ghana. And therefore, we didn't, that's why UTAG was quiet for a long time. And I think that the council, even though there was crisis on UUW council, managed to go through the crisis. And now if you go there on the campus, there is peace and tranquility. I wouldn't say 100% peace, but at least the management have worked hard to restore peace and tranquility to allow teaching and learning and research to continue. It is in the same spirit that we are asking government, allow KNUST Council to work and relook at the issue. So UTAG is not saying anything different. Just as it happened on UW Council, where in the midst of the turmoil and confusion, the legitimate council was allowed space to go through courts and use the internal process of disciplinary action and all that to purge itself of everything that has happened for teaching and learning to be restored. We are expecting the same thing to happen on KNUST campus. As I speak now, the alumni of KNUST, the national alumni of KNUST, has also put out a national statement expressing disappointment and dismay about the dissolution of KNUST Council. So, my sister, what is happening in our public universities is not interesting, an interesting story. It's not interesting at all. And KNUST, as we talk now, I am on KNUST campus as I'm speaking to you. What has happened and the things I've seen today, and I saw, and I don't think this thing should repeat itself. The only way we can move forward and ensure that such things do not occur on other campuses is to make sure that we give the council the opportunity to work. And therefore, UTAG does not sanction the interim council. We are asking government respectfully to restore the council and let us move forward. We are ready to deliberate with government. If government decides to deliberate, we are ready for them. But other than that, these are the issues we have decided upon today, and we stand with KNUST all throughout.
All right, Dr. Boku-Mensah, some would ask, what is UTAG's real fear? Is it that you feel that the students will be emboldened by this and then act with impunity going forward?
That is one possible example. But I think our real issue is that, and I have already articulated it on your platform, that there is a strategic plan to remove Professor Obiri Danso from office. And I'm saying that even if that is supposed to happen for any misconduct of the Vice-Chancellor, let it be the decision of the legitimate council and not any other person from the council. This is all we are asking. Is it too difficult for government to accept? You see, the council is constituted with different representatives. Government has 4 reps on KNUST campus. If government thinks that the 4 representatives, including the chairman, are not living up to expectation, government has every right to withdraw his appointees and appoint different people to represent its interests. But to simply say that I am dissolving the entire council because I have power to appoint and disappoint, it's highly unacceptable when we think about the spirit of the autonomous nature, semi-autonomous nature of universities and how they are supposed to exist and operate. So it is not simply about the issue of who has the power to appoint and who has the power to disappoint. The issue has got to do with best practices. The issue has got to do with the intention behind the action. So we see the end from the beginning. And we, as a responsible stakeholder in this whole process, we are not going to sit down for this to happen. So we are on red. And just as I have indicated, other sister unions who play a critical role in the running of public universities in Ghana are also speaking. They are meeting and they are taking firm decisions. Enough is enough.
All right.
UTAG, other sister unions, KAWA, and FUSAC, we are all standing with KNUST. And all we are saying is that government should stay off public universities and allow the legitimate established bodies to work in our public universities.
Very well, very well. Many thanks for your time. And that is National President of UTAG, Dr. Eric Opoku-Mensah there. And speaking of sister associations, we have the KNUST Chapter President of the Ghana Association of University Administrators, Anthony Gallo, on the line with us. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to your viewers. My name is Anthony Gallo.
Anthony Gallo, thanks for the correction. So why have you decided to join the action by UTAG?
Thank you for the opportunity. We decided to join the strike because we felt that what government is doing is undue interference in the management of the university. Dissolving the governing council with is out of place and it's not acceptable.
Right. So what do you expect of government? Do you want the, as UTAG is demanding, restore the former council, or exactly what do you want?
Yes, we want the government to immediately restore the governing council because we believe that the governing council has the capacity, based upon the act and the statutes of the university, to resolve this problem and let peace return to campus.
We understand that some of the university associations will be embarking on a demonstration on Monday. Are you joining that demonstration as well, your members?
Yeah, if you do come on, we'll join.
All right, many thanks. That is Anthony Gallo. He is the KNUST Chapter President of the Ghana Association of University Administrators. Meanwhile, the Vice-Chancellor's Ghana is unhappy with events as well. Professor John Jepong is the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Allied Health Sciences, and he told my colleague Evans Menza a while ago that government's decision to dissolve the governing council was ill-advised.
Vice-Chancellor's Ghana met yesterday. Mid-morning, we had a meeting with the Minister of Education to discuss issues relating to post-retirement contract. And after that, we took the opportunity to receive a briefing from KNUST campus. From all the information that we have gathered, Vice-Chancellor's Ghana is of the opinion that things have not been done properly. We are strongly standing with the Vice-Chancellor of KNUST in these very difficult circumstances. Why do we say so? We think that there are structures that are provided in the various university acts to address all the issues that are being contested. And we don't think that the processes have even been exhausted yet. There is a talk about this decision to dissolve the University of Science and Technology Council was probably a rushed decision. They could have gone ahead. We knew that there was supposed to be a University Council meeting today, and, but everything was just thrown overboard. For which reason nobody even knows what to do. We think it's very, very unfortunate. I mean, we could see this escalating to this level. And as you can see, UTAG on KNUST campus has declared a strike. FUSAG has joined in. TU has joined. GAWA has joined. And as I indicated, I'm aware that the national UTAG was also heading towards Kumasi for a NEC meeting. And I think I heard the national president saying that the various campuses were going to meet and take decisions, because our processes are such that one campus does not decide for another. But with what is going on, I can imagine by Monday all 10 campuses declaring a strike.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break at this juncture. You're welcome back. Now, President Akufo-Addo says his administration is working towards resourcing the Ghana Police Service to make it proactive for the citizenry. Major interventions, including the renovation of police stations across the country, according to the president, is to standardize infrastructure within the service to position it to deliver world-class security. The president said this when he handed over some 200 Toyota Saloon cars to the police administration at the CID headquarters Friday afternoon. There's more in the following report.
President Akufo-Addo has since assumption of office pledged to equip the police service to meet a world-class standard. Friday's presentation, according to the president, is in partial fulfillment of those promises. Addressing officers before the presentation, the president assured them that his administration has also made resources available to retool the service.
Today, resources have also been allocated for police kits, protective gear, and adequate quantities of other essential equipment. And more vehicles are on the way. Our aim is to strengthen the police, fashioning it into an honest, disciplined, efficient, and robust force, whose emphasis will be on proactive and preventative policing rather than reactive.
The president has also charged the police to maintain the vehicles and other equipment that will be provided for the service. Minister for the Interior, Ambrose Derry, has meanwhile announced financial clearance has been given for the recruitment of some 4,000 officers to address the deficit in police-civilian ratio.
Early this year, President and the State of the Nation made available 800 million cedis extra budgetary allocation to make sure that the police were adequately resourced and equipped. To address the shortfall between personnel level as it is and what it should be, namely that the United Nations expects it to be 1:500 civilians, and we now currently are 1:848. Mr. President has granted financial clearance for recruitment of 4,000 police, unprecedented in this country. Great.
You're welcome back. Now, the Upper West Regional Security Council has formed a 4-member committee to look into alleged brutalities meted out to a soldier in Wa by some police officers also stationed in the town. Head of the Airborne Force Military Detachment in Wa, Captain Lisbon Mante, is said to have been assaulted and his pistol seized by the police, even though he showed his military ID card after he is alleged to have made a wrong U-turn. The decision to set up the 4-member committee was taken at a REDSEC meeting which ended about an hour ago. Correspondent Rafiq Salam joins us with more. Rafika, explain to us this alleged assault of the soldier. What's the background to it?
The Operation Vanguard team came to town a week ago. So they went to the Naduru district and also parts of the West East to do their operations. And they returned in the night. And the commander, Captain Lisbon Mante, came into town driving a vehicle belonging to Azuma Resources Limited. He came to town and he tried to use allegedly tried to use a wrong U-turn, and it was there that the police patrol team pounced on him, asked him why he took that wrong U-turn. An argument ensued. And then one of the policemen was asked to join his car, and he joined his car, and he was supposed to take the car to the police station. But Captain Mante took him to the new residency where the military airborne detachment base, where they were located and where they are staying. And so when he reached the gate, he asked the policeman on duty, who was the gatekeeper there, to open. He refused, because he also refused because he saw police vehicle also trailing them to that particular place. And so another argument ensued, and I learned that it was alleged that the military man gave some few warning shots, but he was overpowered by the policemen, and he was bundled into the car, beaten mercilessly, and after that was taken to the police station. And so that was exactly what happened. He tried to tell them that he was a military man, but the police wouldn't hear any of that, but he was beaten mercilessly.
I see. And how has the incident affected relations between military and the police?
Araba, this was not a first incident that happened. Last Saturday, a similar incident also occurred at the One Art Palace when they were doing the coronation of the Frafra chief, where a military man was alleged to have beaten a policeman. And so this is the second incident that really occurred. And so Captain Lisbon Mante was the one who was supposed to bring that military man for them to look into the case, and then he was beaten at that. So I can say that the relationship between the two security forces is not the best.
All right, many thanks. Rafiq Salam is our Upper West correspondent. Now, there's been a significant decline in the number of persons killed through road crashes in the Upper West region. According to figures released by the Regional Office of the National Road Safety Commission, the number of persons who lost their lives in the third quarter of 2017 reduced from 13 to 11 in the same period this year. The number of fatalities also reduced from 12 to 11 over the same period. Upper West Regional Manager of the Commission disclosed this to the media in Wa, from where Rafiq Salam reports.
Over a decade ago, the dominant mode of transport in the Upper West region, especially the one municipality, was a bicycle. Few hundred owned motorbikes. As a result of that, the number of accident cases were negligible. The tables, however, have now turned, with the streets replete with several thousands of motorbikes and vehicles. The number of accident cases rose to a zenith. Several persons maimed and others lost their lives due to the carnage. In the first quarter of 2017, for example, 54 vehicles were involved in accident, 11 were fatal, and 13 died. Moving to the third quarter of 2018, 43 vehicles were involved in accident. Out of that number, 4 were fatal, and 4 persons also lost their lives. Upper West Regional Manager of the National Road Safety Commission, Mohammed Abdul Samad, said the significant reduction in the figures in the 2018 third quarter was due to vigorous education campaign embarked on by the Commission.
Some people are learning from what we are preaching. Others too, they still, because the recalcitrant ones still go ahead to do the wrong thing. But some others, they are ignorant. That's why we are educating and trying to extend our education to wherever.
Another issue which is of great concern for the National Road Safety Commission is the haphazard sighting of billboards at junctions and close to the shoulders of the road.
Now you go out there, you see a billboard just by the roadside, very close. Just look at the gutter, look at it. Some of them are even almost in the road. And that is not right. At least it must be 5 meters away from the roadside. So if you place it there, somebody else are in the junctions where they place them. You are coming from a minor road to join a major road. And then you cannot see your left or even right because of some wrongly placed billboards.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Now, Information Minister Designate has indicated he is open to legislation against fake news. Kojo Nkrumah said he is ready to put in place strict measures to arrest the false news menace if confirmed as the substantive minister. He's been responding to questions as the Appointment Committee of Parliament vetted him Friday.
In Kenya, as I mentioned, they have passed a Cyber Security Act. They view it as a cyber security threat. And there are clear provisions that if you share false news, there are consequences to it. Now, there are some who say, oh, that's a bit draconian. Why would you do that? Now, the other question is, but why would you want to share false news? So if you don't intend to share false news, you don't have to worry about that particular story. Because today, we are all being used as news spreading outlets. And nobody's taking responsibility of is it true or false. And we're all just sharing. I saw it as, I forwarded it as received. And we've all become participants in sharing false news. In the past, you hold the broadcaster accountable. But today, because of the democratization of media, everybody is sharing and nobody's taking responsibility. So in some jurisdictions like Kenya, that act has been passed.
Chairman, honorable election, let me interrupt you. I've heard you reference some jurisdictions like Kenya. What will you do as minister to check this?
Chair, as I said, I was given a background to create context and then I would make my point. I share the view that we should begin to legislate against false news on social media. I share that view.
What kind of legislation would you advocate for? Will it also be cyber security related as in Kenya?
Yes.
Or you want to punish unethical behavior with abuse of the cyberspace?
Today, there are laws to deal with defamatory conduct and publishing false news in the general space. The fake news that we are talking about is often in the cyberspace. And I am very, very attracted to the thought of considering how we can legislate against the sharing of fake news in the cyberspace as part of the cybersecurity risks that we must look at and contain. I'm very open to that proposal.
Chairman, can we have an assurance from the minister that probably
Well, Joseph Opoku-Gappo has more on what transpired at the vetting today.
Information Minister Designate Kojo Nkrumah spent about 3.5 hours before the committee responding to questions. He disclosed that a restructuring project would come off at GBC to make it a lot more effective, and a lot of the restructuring process will be based on the recommendations of a committee that was established by the president to recommend how that institution should work going forward. He additionally disclosed that there will be a media capacity enhancement project that will be captured in the 2019 budget to provide funds that would help ensure that the media gets a lot more money to enhance its development. He's also been commenting on the situation with NABCO, the Nation Builders Corps, and he's been disclosing that the processes to allow for the registration of various officers has begun in the district in order to ensure that by the 1st of November, they would be able to begin work. By the chairman of the appointment committee, Joseph Osei, who had concerns about his disclosure that Dan Botwe is currently the acting Minister for Information, playing a supervisory role, and question why the Information Ministry had not disclosed this to the public all along. The next person to appear before the appointment committee was Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Cynthia Morrison. She spent less than an hour, and the highlights of her presentations included the fact that she was going to help ensure that the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty initiative is expanded to cover a lot more people, and that under the school feeding program, there will be the prompt payment of monies owed caterers. Minister Designate for the Bona Ahafo region, Evans Poku-Bobie, also appeared before the committee. He says he would work closely with people from the region, residents abroad, to raise investment in order to support development in the region. He's also indicated that he would work to reduce situations of people traveling abroad to go seek greener pastures and ending up committing themselves in situations that end up leading to their death. From Parliament House in Accra, Joseph Opoku-Gappo reporting.
Now, the Ghana Standards Authority has declared nearly 50 electricity products substandard and unfit for use for any work in Ghana. The products include light bulbs, extension and stranded cables, LED lights, among others. The Ghana Standards Authority says tests on the products which are already on the market revealed they did not meet the standards for the Ghanaian market. Chief Executive of the GSA, Professor Alex Dodu, addressing the media on Friday, indicated effective January 2019, all imported electrical cables will have to undergo certification from the Ghana Standards Authority. There's more in the following report.
On Wednesday, a team from the Ghana Standards Authority and the Ghana Police Service arrested 2 persons suspected to be Chinese nationals. They are believed to be the ringleaders of a fake cable manufacturing syndicate in Accra. Addressing the media on Friday, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, described the situation as very worrying.
We have identified places where people are not even importing. They are just bringing wires, putting them and selling. What we saw yesterday, just for your information, is just a tip of the information we have, of the iceberg. So really, we have a problem, because for genuine traders to be importing, paying duties, and people sit at home, put wire into insulation, and put any label and sell. And it is a crisis situation.
According to him, effective January 2019, all cables imported into the country will have to undergo verification by the authority before they are released onto the market.
We'll do import certification of all cables coming into the country. We also working with the traders, because cables are small things. So if someone is buying a smaller piece, they may not see it. And we believe that in addition to marking the product, we should mark the seller, so that people want to do genuine business will come to us first before they start. So by endorsing both the seller and the product, we wouldn't solve all the problems, but we will give more confidence. I don't think this is a battle we are going to win in a week or a year, but we must be determined to win.
Meanwhile, the chief executive of the Consumer Protection Agency, Kofi Kapitu, has lauded the efforts by the GSA in the clampdown of the fake electrical cables on the market. He also praised the authority for releasing the list of electrical products that fail the critical parameter test. Mr. Kapitu cautioned other regulators to be proactive in protecting the rights of consumers.
Now, the Ghana Education Service has revealed the curriculum for basic schools across the country will be changed to include robotics, programming and coding by the end of next year. This, the GES believes, will lead to the development of a generation of critical thinkers and problem solvers. Speaking at a science workshop as part of activities wrapping up Cowbell in the Sky promotion, the Director of Science at the Ghana Education Service, Andrews Queening, added that some 600 schools across the country by the end of this year will receive science equipment to help in improving the quality of science taught in schools. Nancy Emefa-Jadosi has more.
During the Cowbell in the Sky tours in various schools, there were numerous calls for more practicality in the manner in which science is being taught in the country. Today, Director of Science at the Ghana Education Service, Andrews Queening, says there's an ongoing process aimed at reviewing the total curriculum for basic schools by the end of next year.
Yeah, we are reviewing the science and mathematics curriculum. We want it to be more practical. We want students to learn by manipulating objects and then developing skills, critical thinking, and those are the essential things that we need in our education. So the current curriculum doesn't lend itself to those things. That is why we are reviewing the curriculum so that students will be involved in a lot of activities, a lot of projects, so that they learn and acquire skills that will help them solve problems in the society.
He also revealed some 600 schools across the country by the end of this year will receive science equipment towards improving quality of science education in Ghana.
We've started with 100 schools selected across the country. We've already supplied the equipment in science and mathematics with some robots. We have trained the teachers in those schools. They have started, and we are expanding it. So it's an expansion. It's across the whole country.
Quizzes were held for junior and senior high schools in collaboration with the National Commission on Civic Education.
With which authority or individual shall the salaries, allowances, gratuities, and pension conditions of the chairman of Regional Tribunal be equal to?
Justice of the High Court.
The Justice of the High Court.
Glorious Jesus Junior High School won the junior high category, while Conquest International School won the senior high school category. The Greater Accra NCCE boss was impressed with the level of knowledge demonstrated by the students and called for corporate organizations to invest in such competitions.
I'm very impressed because I tell you, some of the questions they ask them, I can't even answer them. I can't, but we are sure, we know that they will grow up having this knowledge in their head. So this is part of our strategy to get the in-school youth to learn the Constitution.
Nancy Emefa-Jadosi, Joy News.
Now, statistics of girls dropping out from schools in the Kerry community in the northern region have reduced from 8.7% in 2012 to 1.2% in 2018. This is attributed to the World Food Programme Assisted Incentive Program for Girls Education to Nutrition Education and Support. Teenage pregnancy has also reduced from 3 girls in 2012 academic year to 0 in the 2016 academic year. The program supports girls with various cash amounts, which increases depending on how many times the girl attended school. Martina Bugri has more.
Country Director for World Food Program, Rukia Cook, told Joy News at a short presentation of cash ceremony to girls who had stayed in school 80% and above that girls' retention in schools has increased, an improvement of the previous years.
Girls who come to school now has increased. Attendance has increased, so not only retention also has increased. So children come to school, the girls particularly, but also they stay in the school, not just they come and then one day and they don't come, but they have been attending regularly. So we had almost 90% of the students, the girls, have been coming on a regular basis. So the incentive has been really a motive for them to come on a regular basis. So parents also see this as something that they're gaining something by sending their girls to school.
She said even though the program is being rolled out, a lot of sensitization has been done to sustain the gains.
The incentive also accompanied sensitization to the parents, to the chiefs, to the communities, to the teachers, for them to understand, encourage also, there are benefits of education. So it was not just giving cash or food, but also there was a lot of sensitization going on. After 20 years, I think we say we have done quite a lot. So every 5 years we develop a new country strategy. So the current one is closing in December 2018. And for the next one, we have done a series of consultations. And the key challenge now for girls is not, the gender parity. It's not 100%, but I think the adolescent nutrition.
Jacob Mata, a student of the Kairi Junior High School, said monies which would have gone into providing her needs can now be channeled into supporting her siblings, which offers all of them the opportunity to stay in school.
It helps me in so many ways. I use some of the money for my school items, use it to pay my examination fee and those things. And it also helps me in the house. We use some of the money to buy our food and those things.
Another student, Ntoso Vicencia, said the cash has motivated her a lot to stay in school.
The money encouraged me to come to school because if I absent myself from school, I know that I'm not going to get the amount that they are giving my college. So I will encourage myself to come to school always. If they give us this money, I'll use it to buy my shoes.